With the IdeaPad Duet Chromebook, Lenovo released quite an interesting Chrome OS tablet that is very affordable and it comes with a keyboard. I'm Andrzej from mynexttablet.com and this is my unboxing and hands-on. Let's get started. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so that you get notified once a new video goes live. I'm reviewing pretty much every tablet that gets released, no matter if it's running Chrome OS, Android, iPadOS or Windows. Alright, let's start the unboxing of the Lenovo IdeaPad Duet Chromebook. That's what it's called in Europe. I believe in America it's just called Lenovo Chromebook Duet. Doesn't matter too much, they seem to be exactly identical except for some differences with their names. You can get it starting at $279 or 329 euros. Alright, let's start the unboxing. First we have the tablet itself, makes a pretty good first impression. Then what is very nice at this price is that we get a keyboard that is included at no extra charge, which probably makes it the cheapest tablet with keyboard, the cheapest decent tablet with keyboard. Because if you want to get an iPad 7 or the Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e, you can get those with keyboard too, or the Microsoft Surface Go 2. But for those, you pay at least $100 more, if not more, depending on the keyboard you are getting in the tablet. We also get a back cover here, which has an integrated kickstand. It's nice that it's included. Then we have a quick start guide and some paperwork. Then we have a USB-C cable, so apparently it has a USB-C port, and we even get an audio adapter from a 3.5mm audio port to USB-C. So I guess this tablet won't have a headphone jack, then we just have the standard charger. Since I shot the first part of this video about a day has passed already, I already installed a couple of apps, benchmarks and games, just so I can try it a bit and tell you a bit more about this tablet. We're starting with the design. We're getting a 10.1 inch screen here. Above the screen sits a 2 megapixel webcam and you get black bezels around the screen. On the back we get a mostly metal body, which is really nice that we get a metal body at this price. This is metal. I think this seems to be plastic. That's where the antennas and so are, I guess. But the build quality is pretty good. The frame here is not perfect. Maybe there will be some dust or so sticking there after a while, but it seems to be fine for the price. Overall, I think the build quality seems to be pretty good. Let's go further around the tablet. We are getting an 8 megapixel camera here on the back, the Lenovo logo, there's a Chrome logo here. On the bottom, there's the connector for the keyboard. Then on this side, there's nothing. On the top, we get two speakers. I already listened to them and they are okay. They're certainly not outstanding, certainly not great, but they're loud enough and they are okay, usable, I would say. Then we get the volume rockers here, a power button, and then the one single USB-C port, which really is the only connector we are getting here with this tablet. There does not seem to be a micro SD card slot, which is a bit disappointing, but oh well, I mean, this is a cloud tablet basically, so you have to use cloud storage. So much about the design of the tablet itself. Let's check out the back cover. It has an integrated kickstand, as you can see here. We get a kind of fabric on the back. I think it looks quite nice. It feels okay. Obviously most of it here is plastic, but there are magnets inside. So that's how it's connected. It's using only magnets, which is great. Works pretty well. The magnets are quite strong. If you use the kickstand here to hold it, it really holds the tablet very well, so that is great. The kickstand can be opened quite wide, not as wide as the kickstand of the Surface Go 2, but well, just a little bit here, but it seems to be fine. I hope the kickstand will hold a bit. It's all plastic, of course, but it does seem to be well made, so I hope it will last a long time. The hinge here seems to be, there's a little bit metal here with the hinge, so that's good. Alright, so much about that. Then we can connect it to the keyboard. This is the keyboard. It seems to be an okay keyboard, not outstanding. The keyboard of the Microsoft type cover for the Surface Go 2 certainly is better. I just finished reviewing that one and that keyboard is better. We get relatively small keys here. These are the special keys for the German layout. Yeah, it seems to be fine. I wrote a little bit with it already. You have to get used to it a bit, but then it's okay. We get a touchpad below here, which is fine too. Obviously, all of this is plastic. It does not feel high-end. but it seems fine, you know, like a normal keyboard. It connects magnetically like this, and then you can start to type, for example, in Microsoft Word from the Google Play Store, or you can just use Google Docs, which works great in Chrome. One downside of this keyboard is that you can't angle it up a bit, which means the keyboard is always lying flat on a table. It's okay, but not great, because with the Microsoft Type Cover, for instance, you can angle up the keyboard a bit, but yeah, probably with this design, they just didn't manage to do that. The Lenovo IdeaPad Duet Chromebook has a 10.1-inch IPS display, which is a pretty good one. We get a Full HD resolution with 1920 by 1200 pixels. It seems to be laminated. It is relatively bright and has a good contrast, pretty good color reproduction. Of course, it's an IPS LCD panel, not Super AMOLED, and it's not super high resolution, but I always think that a Full HD resolution on 10 inches is certainly fine. Yeah, not amazing, but certainly fine. So yeah, the viewing angles are pretty good. As you can see here, again, I think it's bright enough. It's not as bright as the iPad Pro, but it's also much cheaper. So I think that's okay. What else about this screen do I have to tell you? First of all, Netflix. You can watch Netflix in Full HD resolution when you're using the Google Chrome browser. Since this is Chrome OS, so Chrome browser works great with Netflix, so you can watch it just fine. Now that is something to note with the Lenovo tablet, because all of the Android tablets are not capable of playing back Netflix in HD resolution. And actually, if you're using the Android app here, the Android Netflix app, then you can't watch it in Full HD either. So if you want to watch Netflix in HD, use the Chrome browser, but that works fine, so that's totally fine. Another thing that's important to know is that the screen supports an active stylus, but that one is not available yet, so I didn't have the chance to try it out, but it should support an active stylus that Lenovo will be selling at some point. Let's get to the most important part of this tablet, and that is the Chrome OS operating system. Now, if you're from the United States, then you might have used a Chrome OS device at school and so on, maybe even at university. It seems that Chrome OS devices are quite popular in the United States. Outside of the United States are not. In fact, this is only the second Chrome OS tablet that I've been able to buy in Germany. The first one was the Acer Chromebook Tab 10. That one is 2 or 3 years old already, and I haven't had a Chrome OS device since then. So if you're from the US, you're probably familiar with Chrome OS. If you're not, then maybe you had a notebook, but probably not, because they are really not that popular outside of America. But Chrome OS on a tablet is super exciting, because we're getting basically a desktop browser here that's also optimized for touch a bit, but it's basically desktop Chrome. You can use all the extensions that you can use on Chrome for Windows or Chrome for Mac OS. And as I said, Netflix, for instance, runs great on here. Same goes for YouTube. Same goes for the Google Docs web apps. They work great on here, because that's what Chrome OS is made for. So yeah, the main highlight is this desktop browser. Now, there are some additional features that are great about Chrome OS. First of all, if you're missing any Android app, then you can just install them from the Google Play Store. For instance, I installed Adobe Lightroom from the Play Store, and it works fine, just as on an Android tablet. I also downloaded Microsoft Word, which works fine too, just again like on an Android device. So it works great. This goes for pretty much all of the Google Play Store apps. You won't find every app from the Google Play Store that's supported here on Chrome OS, but most standard apps are supported. Now, if you connect the tablet to the keyboard, then it turns on the standard desktop mode, which basically is the standard mode of Chrome OS, because it originally wasn't developed for tablets. But if you detach the keyboard, then it activates a kind of tablet mode where you can use gestures and so on. You can, for instance, open two apps side by side this way. Then you can open Word and Chrome, for instance, side by side, and use them side by side, just as on an Android tablet. That works totally fine. You have quick settings here, and if you get a notification from Gmail or so on, then you can see those out on the top here. That looks very similar to Android again, and yeah, that is great. If you go to the settings here, we can open it in full screen view, and then we can go to About Chrome OS, and then we can see it's version 83 at the moment, and then we can go to additional information, and then we see something that is very special about this tablet. It says, and I have it set to German, but it says that it will get updates, standard software updates and security updates to June 2028. That means it will be much longer up to date than any Android tablet you can buy. Samsung is the manufacturer that releases the most amount of updates for their tablets compared to the others, and they release 2 major updates, so for 2 years. This one will get 8 years of updates because the updates are released by Google and not by the manufacturer. So this is similar to a Windows device that will get updates from Microsoft and not from the manufacturer. Maybe they will sometimes push some things, but the main updates are coming here from Google. So that is a huge advantage compared to an Android tablet, because most Android tablets don't get any updates. Maybe one, in the case of Samsung 2, but otherwise many don't. Now you can use apps from the Google Play Store, as I said, but you can also use Linux apps. You have to activate that first. I didn't do it yet, but yeah, you should be able to install Linux desktop apps on here too, which is another great advantage which you can't just do on Android. Inside the IdeaPad Duet Chromebook runs a MediaTek Helio P60T processor that is supported by 4GB of RAM, and you can get it with 64 or 128GB of internal storage. You can see my Geekbench 4 benchmark comparison here, which shows that the performance is similar to a Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite, which is priced quite similar. It has a stylus, but it does not have a keyboard, so the performance is quite similar. I already played PUBG Mobile on here, which you can see it's obviously an Android game, and the performance is pretty good. I could even set the graphics to HDR and it runs smoothly, as you can see. Now we're getting an ARM processor here, and Android is optimized for ARM, so it should run fine, and it does run fine. Now the graphics don't look amazing. It could be better on an iPad 7 for instance, and maybe the performance is a little bit better on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e, but I wouldn't recommend this as a gaming tablet. It's mainly a productivity tablet that you can also play some games on. I couldn't find Fortnite in the Play Store for instance, but yeah, PUBG Mobile seems to run great. Alright, I have to really start my review of this Lenovo IdeaPad Duet Chromebook. This is not the review, it's just an unboxing and hands-on and first impressions. I really have to use it for a while now as my daily device. I will work a bit with it, I will play some games, but mainly work with it and surf the web to see how I like it and if I could replace a laptop with it. My first impressions are that I could, because I'm really positively surprised by this tablet. The build quality is pretty good, especially for its price. I really like that we get this back cover with a built-in kickstand and a keyboard, because you're basically saving a cover and a keyboard. You don't have to buy it separately. And yeah, seems to be the cheapest tablet with keyboard that you can buy right now. It's the cheapest decent tablet with keyboard. Everything else is at least $100 pricier, and often even more. So yeah, I like Chrome OS 2. This is not an entertainment tablet. If you mainly want to watch Netflix, mainly want to watch YouTube, mainly want to play games, then you probably should get an Android tablet or an iPad. But if you also want a desktop browser and if you want to get some work done in between, then this seems to be a very interesting choice. But as I said, I have to really start my review now. Alright, that has been my unboxing and hands-on with the Lenovo IdeaPad Duet Chromebook or Lenovo Duet Chromebook, depending on where you're from. If you have any questions, please write them down below and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Again, I'm reviewing pretty much every tablet that gets released. I'm Andrzej for mynexttablet.com. Thanks for watching and see you next time.